Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jolie channel, and I'm so excited you are here. I'm about to go for my run, and I thought it a great time to talk about exercise and weight loss, because there are ways that you can finesse your exercise. There are ways that you can ease yourself into exercise that will not only benefit your weight loss, but it will benefit your overall health. So let's pretend, or let's assume that you are the person that doesn't exercise. And we all know, we've heard a million times that we need to exercise. So how do you move into becoming an exerciser? And what's the bare minimum that you need to do every day? When I began my weight loss journey and my transformation, my way of dealing with myself and my way of helping myself win, and this is what we want when we're designing our lifestyle, a program for health. So we want a situation where we can win. I didn't say, okay, I'm gonna go join the most intense workout, I'm gonna go train for a marathon. No. Instead, I promised myself that I would go to the gym or I would go outside to exercise every day. That was it. Every day. I didn't have to stay there long. I could just go to the gym and come back when I wasn't feeling it. But the goal was to exercise for 20 minutes. But as long as I went, check off, I won. And the beautiful thing about setting your bar so that you do the activity that will give you success. So you're practicing the habit that is part of the structure you're building, is that you not only develop the habit, but you win. So you don't have to say, okay, I'm gonna go run for 20 minutes a day, and then you don't do it, and then you sit down and you feel guilty and you give up and you're like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. No, if it's just like, I have to go to the gym every single day, I could stay on that treadmill for 60 seconds, or I can stay on that treadmill for half an hour, or if I'm really feeling it, I'm into a really good audiobook, I'll stay there for 45 minutes and I've won. Or I could go to the gym, because that's the only thing I have to do, and go sit in the whirlpool. I won. So that is how I began to re-exercise, to start exercising again after a long hiatus. And that's what I recommend to everyone who is a non-exerciser. You start just developing the habit that builds the structure. So let's fast forward, and we have the habit of going to the gym. So what do we do now? We aim for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of any activity is what we aim for. And as we get wins there, then we go on to harder activities, or we find, oh gee, I really like weightlifting, or oh gee, I really love running, or I have a passion for golf. And then you do that thing. And you add and you add and you subtract and you change and you keep it fun. So let's go and say that you are already an exerciser, but you need to lose weight. Any exercise that you do to help you lose weight is going to be on top of what you already do, because your body has already become acclimated to the level of activity that you have and has made the metabolic adjustments that it needs to make to be most efficient. So that means you have to add exercise on. Now, let's get to the role of exercise. And there are three main roles of exercise. The first and the most important, and the reason you should exercise your entire life, is exercise is the one thing that every single study shows increases longevity, increases immunity, increases recovery, and increases stamina. So exercise keeps you young for longer. Exercise protects you against the big killers: cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. I read such an interesting study about sumo wrestlers. So sumo wrestlers are huge. They eat more than one would think is humanly possible. But when you do their blood work, when they're training as a sumo wrestler, which is super intense, all-day training, highly active, these people are 600 pounds, 500 pounds, 400 pounds. They show no signs of cardiovascular disease, no signs of diabetes, because the movement is protective. But the moment they stop sumo wrestling, the moment they retire, give them a few months, give them a year, and then you test them, and research has shown suddenly all those diseases start appearing. And the thing is the exercise is what disappeared. So exercise will improve your overall longevity, improve how much you enjoy that longevity, and it helps the mental. It helps the mood. It helps the way you see the world. It helps keep you more buoyant. It helps you to really deal with and move through the difficult times in life. And for those two reasons alone, we should all be exercising. So that's thing number one that exercise does, and why everyone should be exercising. Thing number two is, if you time your exercise right, it will help accelerate your weight loss. And if you are suffering from any of the metabolic diseases like diabetes, it will help you to begin to turn back and to reverse your diabetes. This is type 2 diabetes we're talking about. So how do you use exercise to help improve metabolism and help to lose weight faster? I always thought that it was to exercise in a fasted state. And actually that's usually when I do exercise. However, in terms of the research, it is better to exercise after you eat. And the reason for that is, when we talk about our glucose curve, which you can watch a video on the glucose curve, when you eat something and you see a big spike, let's say you're diabetic and you're monitoring your blood sugar and you see a big spike, that big spike is telling your body, put all this in the fat cells, put all this in the fat cells. When you exercise after you eat, your body actually gets to use that energy. So it doesn't need to be stored in the fat cells. So it will help you to lose weight because you will literally be burning off the thing that you put in your mouth. And you will be keeping your insulin levels down. So that means you're keeping your fat storage down. And that also means you're loosening the hold on the energy that's already stored in your body, the energy that is stored on your belly, your arms, and your fat. So when exercising to help accelerate weight loss, it's best to do so after you eat. But say you're like me and I really need to exercise in the morning. How can you take advantage of that interesting metabolic fact? What you can do is some form of movement after you eat. So it might be eating lunch and then going for a 5-minute walk. It might be eating lunch and then doing squats every few minutes to help accelerate your metabolism. It might be deciding that after lunch is the time to vacuum and clean your house. And when my kids were little, I followed the Fly Lady, and there was like the 10-minute house clean where you ran around like a mad woman cleaning the house. And it was fabulous. It saved me so much time, but it was also a workout. So I give you that too. Okay, so we did number one is exercise helps everything. Number two, exercising after you eat improves metabolic function. And then number three about exercise is when you exercise, be mindful if you're using exercise for weight loss. Be mindful not to recoup those calories in the next meal. So your body is super, super smart, and the programming is elite. It's elegant, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And when they do studies to show, okay, how does exercise affect caloric consumption, what they have found, particularly in women, and sometimes we do get the short end of the stick when it comes to weight loss because we are the childbearers at this time. What they find is we calorie for calorie make up for the calories that we burn when exercising, particularly women. Our bodies are so intelligent that it knows I burned 300 calories in that workout session. So somehow, some way, in the next 24 hours, I'm gonna eat 300 more calories. And this happens imperceptibly to us often. So in order to use exercise for weight loss, we have to be very, very vigilant to not adjust the amount of food we're eating to make up for our exercise. So just because we exercise does not mean that we can get our latte or frappuccino or that extra cookie, or it's okay to have dessert, or just one bite of this extra, or I'll dip into this pretzel. No. If we're using exercise to lose weight, we are not doing that. So to recap, exercise is a wonderful thing. It's a thing we all should be doing. It should be a priority in our life. It's how we keep our machine running well. It's how we keep our mind running well. It's one of the things that helps our mind to run well. We all should be exercising. If we want to lose weight, we should exercise as a habit, so get ourselves into that habit. Move after we eat, and be conscious and intentional in not making up the calories. And I will tell you one other wonderful thing about exercise is that as you lose weight, exercise will help you to feel more confident. Exercise will help tighten up your body. It will help give you greater flexibility. So many times when we are overweight, we feel restricted. We feel like I can't do things. We feel sometimes embarrassed that we go up the steps and we're out of breath. We feel all of those things. And exercise is one part of how we can take care of ourselves that will help us to feel better. It will help us to go up the steps and not be out of breath. It will help to tone our body up. It will help to make us feel strong. When we bring in the groceries after a month or so of exercising, at some point we realize, gee, that wasn't hard at all. So exercising has amazing effects on you mentally, on you physically. However, when we're losing weight, we just have to be intentional about how we're using it and how we're eating in light of exercise. So, I'm gonna go for my run, and I want you to really think about, okay, how can I increase exercise in my life? How can I make it more pleasurable? How can I start exercising in such a way that I set myself up to win? And in everything that I do and everything that we do at Jolie, what do we want more than anything? We want you to win, and we want you to have the tools to know how to win. So have a wonderful day. Check us out at our website, www.thejolielife.com. And there's a lot more there on the blog, and there's a lot more there as it relates to health, nutrition, and particularly my passion, which is weight loss.